jump in the back of the pickup truck and join us for a ride back to the good old days.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
A nostalgic podcast based on entertainment and memories from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Come with us and revisit the best time ever. So jump on your BMX bike, pop a heavy metal tape into your Walkman, and hang on tight while you go back to the past with us.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Preachers of the Night. Little Kiss cast we're doing as part of Pastimes at 80s High. Got my brother Mark here with me tonight. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing pretty good. The weather's a little crazy out there between rain, snow, and sleet. Hopefully, we don't get a ton of snow, but let's hope not. Anyway.
Yeah, we are in New Hampshire, and it's not supposed to be great for the next couple of days. So, we're getting pulverized here in the end of March. It's brutal. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a Paul Stanley episode tonight, and we're going to do a 2 CD set of songs that we love and we'd like to hear. And we picked, one from each album. So we're going from 21 albums. That's including his solo album in 78. And then we have 3 wild cards at the end. So that's where we can include anything we want because we didn't include live or compilation in this or whatnot. So, Mark, who's going to roll us off tonight?
I think I went last time, so I'll start off tonight if you.
Yeah,
okay
that's fine with me. That's fine with me. So we're going to start with 1974, the debut.
I got 100,000 Years. I've picked that song before. I love that tune. It sounds like you're going somewhere. The guitars are awesome. The vocals. So that's my number one pick for that record.
All right. I should have started with this. We're going to kind of rip through this because there's so many picks, people. So, all right. So I have Strutter. Little overplayed to my liking, but I got to be honest here. I was struggling with this album, and I knew exactly where you were going with it. So, Strutter is Strutter. It's, written before Kiss, back in Wicked
Great
Lester.
solo.
Yep, great solo. So that's what I got for my number. Not my number one, but my first song on this 2 CD album. So that takes it to Harder Than Hell. Still 1974, by the way, when they were pumping albums out like crazy.
Pumping them out because they're trying to save the company, the record company.
Yep.
I have the title track on that one.
Nice.
They also played it in Kiss Meets the Phantom. It was Rip and Destroy. Kind of like that version better because that's how I kind of feel about life. So that's my favorite song on Harder Than Hell.
Awesome. Well, good. We didn't have the same one here either, so that's good. I have Coming Home. Great song. Great song. I love the version off of the Unplugged, set there. Just spectacular. Something really funny that this song makes me think of is just a couple weeks ago, a cast I listened to, and Mark does too occasionally, is Shouted Out Loud cast. And they had Ace Frehley on and Steve from Trickster, who helped him write his album. And it was a fucking riot because when Steve was talking about wanting to, do a version of Coming Home, Ace didn't think he had anything to do with it. And Steve's like, you co-wrote it. Yeah. It was a friggin' riot.
He forgot.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. 1975, Dressed to Kill. Do you, Mark?
They look great on that record. And my favorite song on that one is Come On and Love Me. Great vocal, great solo again. It just, something about that song reaches me.
Awesome. Well, I have the same one this time. And there's some great songs on that album. Fucking Room Service, I love, but I could not. I was thinking you may go with Rock Bottom there, but
I was going back and forth with the two.
But Come On and Love Me is something that I should have, I thought should have remained in their set, and just a great, great tune. Destroyer, that's where we're at, 1976.
Okay, I had to do this. It's Detroit Rock City. It's the one of the signature songs of the band. It goes right into your soul. Such a great song. I mean, we all know what it's about, and tragic end. Tragic end.
Tragic ending for sure. Yes.
Great solo. Ace comes in, then Paul comes in with the harmony, the guitar harmony, if you will. And I mean, they started that at all the concerts with that song for so many years, and it's just it's the song I never got tired of.
It's a staple. I mean, it's unbelievable. There's no question about it. Well, good, because I took King of the Nighttime World. I think a lot of people out there don't realize it's actually a cover tune, and just a great song. Another one that I wish they played a hell of a lot more. They'd sneak it in here and there, but not nearly as much as they should have. Let's see. That brings us to Rock and Roll Over, 1976 as well. Yep.
One of my favorite songs of all time that they've done. I Want You. Again, I mean, you have the intro. It comes in slow and it comes in blazing. And they do that once more in the song. And again, it's a double solo. Paul comes in at the beginning, his little tasteful lead. And then Ace comes in and just rips it. And I love the video. So I love that song.
Awesome. All right. Well, I have Mr. Speed, a Kiss favorite. I mean, I should say a Kiss fan favorite. Seems to get more and more popular when you listen to a lot of podcasts and read the, social media out there. But I've always loved it. I believe it was on the flip side of Hard Luck Woman. I'm not sure. They were a couple 45s from Rock and Roll Over. But that album, man, just a great album. And Mr. Speed, just a great, great song. All right. Love Gun to you, Mark, 1977.
Okay. Sorry to keep bringing up the number one track in the record, but I Stole Your Love. It reminds me of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. They played it in the beginning of a lot of the concerts, or a few of them. And just a heavy, fast song. Also, you probably see a theme with me. Actually, you won't see it much longer because Ace is going to leave the band. But
Right.
What I'm trying to say was when Paul and Ace would not compete in solos, but Paul would usually come in first because he's the rhythm guitar player, and Ace would come in. And that's another thing I love about that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we got the same again here. I mean, great album, great songs on that album, but I Stole Your Love just kicks me in the ass every time I hear it. I love it. Just like you, I think of them coming off the risers and Kiss Meets the Phantom. But another reason this is really a special song to me is because I can't even count how many times I saw the Hot in the Shade tour, and them coming out to this with no You Wanted the Best. But that fucking tour was by far the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest non-makeup tour. Gene, in my opinion, found his look. Yeah, I don't think he looked as good as he did in Revenge, but still, he looked fucking great. They had energy. They swapped that set list up and mixed it up, and it was just kick ass.
That was a great tour, AJ. I loved that tour.
Yep. Oh, great fun.
And I talked about that in another one of our podcasts.
So
okay,
right, we're going to Paul now. This is where we hit
Paul Stanley.
Yep. The solo
Ain't Quite
album.
Right.
Ain't Quite Right.
Ain't Quite.
Awesome.
Ain't Quite
song.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome album. You go ahead, then I'll go. I apologize, Mark.
It's I've never really been in a relationship that wasn't quite right. I was in one, so that was good enough for me. But Paul Stanley is actually a good guitar soloist as long as you don't use his guitar solo in the concert. With the
right.
Animalized tour, that was ridiculous.
Oh,
but
yes.
it's just so tasteful, and I used to hear that when I would be walking through the tunnels when I worked at the State House as a page, and I'm like hearing the solo in my head and thinking, man, what a great place to put an amp and play that solo because it just would sound so good.
I can't remember if that was Bob on that one, but Bob Kulick did tons on that album. But great song, and I will say that this was probably my hardest pick because this entire album to me is flawless, with the exception, okay?
I know which one you're
with
gonna
the
say.
exception of the one song that those friggin' morons Paul chose as the the single, which is "Hold Me, Touch Me." It's terrible. It's unlistenable to me. I mean, it's that
It's not
bad.
good.
It's
Not
that
good.
bad, and yeah. So, but anyway, I need to pick my song, which I got so fired up about.
Oh, you haven't done that?
Nope. It's definitely "Tonight You Belong to Me," and like I said, I had a hard time, but just that song is, says everything about that album. It's just friggin' amazing. There's not a bad track on it other than what we already talked about, but that's the one I chose for me today. All right. Now we're at
Okay.
Dynasty 1979.
Dynasty. I have Magic Touch. It's my favorite Paul song by far on the record.
Yep.
He might have done it in some of his solo stuff. I mean, when I say solo stuff, outside of Kiss.
Yeah, he definitely did.
I know he did.
Yep.
And just a very, it's soulful. It goes to your soul.
It is. There's a different layout to it. It's a little different, kicking in with the chorus like that. And that's my pick too, brother. I mean, my favorite. I mean, there's some great, the other two are great as well. I was not obviously going with the big one, but I mean, friggin' Sure Know Something's amazing too. But
That'd be the other one I
Yep.
would have picked. I love
To
that
me,
song.
it's Magic Touch. No question about it. Everything about it, I love. And he definitely did it. In that, I can't remember if it was like 89. Well, he did it on the Live to Win tour, and he did it when he went out with Bob Kulick and Eric Singer. So,
Okay.
absolutely one of my favorite Paul songs of all time.
Yep.
1980, Unmasked.
Unmasked. A very different record by them. I came up with What Makes the World Go Round. A very different song. Just, I don't know. Back then, this may sound weird, but I was going through a phase and I found out what makes the world go round. Is he turning to Christ? I mean, that's what I was thinking.
Right? Hey, whatever you're thinking.
And it just a decent song. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the record.
No.
It just wasn't heavy enough for my liking. It was poppy. Ace had some decent stuff on it, but that was my favorite.
Awesome. All right. Well, on that one, I went with Tomorrow. Unlike Mark, I actually love the album. I love that kind of power pop type of music. And I don't know, I love a lot, most of the songs on that album. There's a couple I'm not crazy about, but Tomorrow, I thought it was a great feel, great groove, and I'll never forget the skip to this day. I popped the record when I found it in my shed, a few weeks ago, and it still had that skip on it that it had when I was a little kid. So
So do you still have it? Do you actually have those records?
I have
at
that
home?
whole box of records, brother.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
it was out in the shed, isn't it?
Oh, they are warped all the fuck. Yep.
Oh,
All
my
right.
God.
So that brings us to The Elder, 1981.
Oh boy! You probably laugh at this, but
Hey, Mark, no, this is your album, bro.
That's right. So
Yep.
listen here, you people. I like the song. I love his vocal on it. It's Just a Boy.
Oh,
Just
boy.
a boy. Yeah, see, I told you wouldn't like it. I really don't give a rat's ass what you think.
Good for you, man. That's great.
I love the vocal and I love the solo. I mean, I hate to be redundant when I talk about solos and when I talk about vocals, but for some reason, I thought that was one of his best vocals You know,
Okay.
it was a
Okay.
Paul vocal.
Well, when we get
I mean,
our,
what do
when
you want
we
me to
get
pick? Honesty, for God's
no,
sake?
no, I was thankful you didn't take that one. That's a toss up for me. But we'll wait till social media gets going, and I'll let you reply to them if we get any.
Yeah, all right. Well, yeah,
Mark,
okay,
you
I
like
could've
what
picked
you
the
like,
Oath, all
man.
right.
You like what you like. All right.
That's right.
I went with The Oath, and just because the way it kicked off the album originally, before they fucking went and changed everything around, but I just love that whole song. I could probably do without the falsetto in it, but I don't know. Just to me, it was, I couldn't pick so I went with The Oath. Right?
Because they both sing.
Now we go to The Beloved Creatures.
Okay.
1982.
This one is a no-brainer for me. I think it's probably one of my top 3 Kiss songs, if not my top Kiss song. It is like, motherfuckers, we are back. We are back. And we are going to fucking blow your balls off.
Mhm.
Creatures of the Night. The title track comes in bone fucking crushing.
All right. Damn right.
Okay.
Damn right. And I'm right there with you, brother. That's mine as well. I did struggle a bit with Danger, but
I love that tune too.
but I couldn't, just when Eric Carr's drums kick in on that album. I mean, I'm going back then, you know what I mean? Like, I remember how I felt as a little kid hearing that thunder kick in and just, hearing that hard rock, almost metal, I was like, this is friggin' great.
I mean, it's very close to metal. Yeah.
Damn right. Damn right. So now we're up to Lick It Up, 1983.
All Hell's Breaking Loose. Great tune. I mean, it's got a little bit of rap to it, if you will. I mean, not really.
Yep.
It's very gothic and violent. I mean, I'm sorry. It's great.
Yep.
I mean, I love gothic and I love mild violence like they did in that song.
Yeah,
the record was absolutely bone crushing, in your face,
Mhm.
and that song, at least on Paul's end, typifies that record.
Oh yeah. I think that these two albums, meaning Creatures and Look It Up, are very, very close to my favorite of all time. Just unbelievable. My pick off that album, which you already know, is A Million to One. I feel like that should have been a single right out of the gate. Just a friggin' incredible vocal, incredible Vinny solo, just a heartfelt song. Like, I feel like if any other band did it, that it would have, been very, very big.
I mean, it would have been a double, but the bitch broke up with him, so.
Right, exactly. All right, so that brings us to 1984 for Animalize, and I won't be surprised if we have the same one, but maybe we don't.
I don't know, brother, but this has a little special meaning to me. My last jam session with my brother.
Oh, man.
This is a little emotional. I'll keep it. But, excuse me, Thrills in the Night. This is the day that he was saying that he had something in his eye.
Oh,
Is there something in my eye?
oh,
And I had no idea, man. Not a friggin' clue. Xander didn't either. And I was stone cold sober because I had Lyme disease and I couldn't drink, and it just
brutal.
Oh, it was tough, man. And that's that whole jam session will live in infamy with me, and I actually did all right. They were thrilled how quick I learned it, and
Awesome.
we never jammed again, brother.
Awesome.
I haven't jammed with anyone since.
That's huge. For anyone out there that doesn't know, we lost our brother David about 5 years ago to cancer. And, he would friggin' love. I mean, you want to talk about a massive Kiss fan. He would put us to shame, and just wish he could be here for that. All right. But we'll try to move on here. Where were we? Animalize. All right. Well, I've had enough. Out of the cold into the fire, another unbelievable opener to an album that is by far my favorite on the album. It's one of my favorite Kiss songs of all time. One thing I think about it all the time is, first of all, you got Eric's drums coming in again that were unbelievable. And then you got Mark St. John solo, which I find to be pretty damn tasteful. It's a bit Bumblebee. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's Mark on that, but all I can say is what I think it was Gene who said it is he was great at the solos. But he could never remember what he played, so you'd never hear it twice.
I think that was Paul. That was Paul. I read that in Paul's book.
Yeah,
Play it again. I never played the same thing twice.
Yeah, exactly. So unreal. All right, bro. Let's move up to Asylum, 1985.
Again, not one of my favorite records, but I got King of the Mountain.
Oh, wow.
King of the Mountain. I don't know.
It's your
That's all I got to
favorite
say
song
about it.
on that album. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is.
I mean, yeah.
It's
So
funny.
that's
I
all
mean,
I'm going to say.
this is why it's beautiful to be a Kiss fan, because just to see the differences in people. And you know what? That is okay out there, people, for all you people that always think everybody has to love everything, but for me, Asylum's one of my favorite non-makeup albums. I mean, it's not up there, at the top, but I love the album. For me, it had a lot of meaning for me, just for where I was in my life at the time. And I went with the title track. I mean, that's one of Bruce's greatest solos of all time. They kind of, they were huge on MTV at the time. Unfortunately,
The title track?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was incorrect. Tears Are Falling. Tears Are Falling. I meant the first single released. I apologize, but I love the song, and it's not something to me that was pounded into the dirt. They played it through a few years, but I don't go back to it much, and when I do, I love it. And Bruce's solo is just awesome in it. Just awesome.
Yep.
So now we're going to have a difference of opinion here, I believe, brother, but
Probably. You probably expected me to pick something, but
1987, Crazy Nights.
I actually really like this record. I love this record, and I think Paul and Gene had a lot of good songs in this record, and I'm going with "Turn on the Night" for Paul. He had a video with it, and it was really cool. It's a fairly heavy song for the record. Not that any of the songs on the record were unheavy; they were just polished, if you will, but
Polished with keyboard and yeah, exactly.
yeah, but it's a good. I really do like that record.
Yeah, it's one of my. I love
Car
it
tape,
for the car tape, the Topaz,
tape.
Exactly. Well, for me, this plays a real special part in my life. I had moved and didn't really love where I was, so I would listen to this over and over. And I also have Turn on the Night. I love the whole album, but Turn on the Night to me was an anthem. I mean, I think that song should have been huge. And everyone says this, so I'm not copying anyone out there. Everyone says this, but if you took that friggin' song and you put it onto Hysteria or Slippery When Wet, and one of those released it, I'm telling you, it would have been massive. It's just a fucking great song. I love it.
I agree.
And I think it's a great album. All right.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it didn't get a lot of critical acclaim, but
And
they had Reason to Live was massive.
Yep. Same idea. Same thing I said about Turn on the Night right there. I mean,
Yeah.
Same thing. Now, I have a very big feeling that we're going to have a difference of opinion on our next one, which brings us
I don't know.
is 1989, Hot in the Shade. And when I say difference of opinion, Mark, I don't mean on the song, I mean the record itself.
I mean, I think if they stripped the record down a little bit, it would have been a better album. It's just they what do they have? 15 songs on
Yep,
this?
something like that, including
What was it?
Boomerang, mind you.
Yeah. Well, I have Hide Your Heart, the Ace Frehley song. Oh, wait a minute. Paul wrote it. Yeah, I know, but Ace did it. I guess they called Ace and said, please don't do it. And he says, fuck you. I'm doing it. But it's a good song. The video is incredible.
Yep.
I love it when Gene puts the body in the hearse.
Yeah.
You know.
I believe
that's my favorite song on that record.
All right.
So,
I mean, it's a great song. There's no question about it. I mean, so many bands did that. I think Molly Hatchet did it, Mark.
they did?
Did you know that?
Did Paul Stanley actually write it?
I believe it was Holly Knight that wrote it originally, got the general sound of it. And then I think Desmond Child came in on that too. Don't quote me on that because I'm not positive. But then brought it to Paul, and he might have made a friggin' change or two and to get his name on it. And I think Holly Knight and him had a little bit of an issue with it actually. But
I don't blame Holly.
But yeah, go check out the Molly Hatchet version because I'm near certain they did it. If not, I'll be doing some editing. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, I need to make my pick, and that is You Love Me to Hate You. I love this song.
No, I don't.
It's another Desmond Child co-write, I believe. And it's just an awesome song to me. I love everything about it. And I think there's a few great Paul songs on this album. Gene, maybe one or two, but
I like Betrayed by Gene, but
Yep. That's probably his best on the album, if you ask me. Then you have Cadillac Dreams, which is kind of fun. Street Giveth, but anyway, I love this song. I love the different changes in it, but that's my pick. I struggled with King of Hearts too, which I also think is awesome. All right, and now we are at 1992, and that's Revenge.
yeah, this song was always my favorite song on the record, period. Obviously, it's a Paul song. It's called Heart of Chrome. You're talking about I'm not going to use the word, but not a nice girl. Not a nice girl. She was not nice to Paul. And Paul's vocal on this, you could tell his anguish in it.
Oh, yeah.
And the guitars. I mean, it's a great album.
Unbelievable album. Unbelievable.
It wasn't my
album.
happiest time. I was a little down, but I tend to think a little bit less of a record if it was in a time in my life that I wasn't all that happy, and a lot higher of a record if I was happy.
Absolutely,
I just play the association game, and
absolutely.
That's just what I do. But I still think it's an incredibly fantastic record.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Vinny coming in and helping writing again, since Lick It Up, and just unbelievable. So I'm going to go the other end of the spectrum here, and I'm going to go to Take It Off. Just a classic Paul song, strip bar, blah, blah, blah. Mine's getting dirty around 11:30, and I won't say anything more about that. So we will go to 1997 to Carnival of Souls.
Actually, they were working on the record in 95. It came out at least in what would you call that, AJ? The underground, if you will.
Bootlegs, yeah.
Bootleg, thank you. And so I heard the song way before the record, way before the general. Well, actually, I probably heard the same stuff just at the same time as everyone else. Okay,
exactly. Which is why they had to release it, really.
Yeah, you're right, because they were going into the reunion stuff. But
exactly.
And getting back to my little thing with Association, my life was going incredible at this time, and I love that record. A lot of people think they were trying to go grunge. Maybe they did. I mean, they were singing about shit that they shouldn't have. I mean, they had the world by the balls, but Anyway, that being said, Master and the Slave, just a great riff coming out of the song. It kind of changes tempos here and there, I believe, and Bruce plays his ass off on the whole record.
Yep, he sure
truthfully.
does. Absolutely.
And so
Awesome.
I love that song. Paul, I mean, you could have picked many of his songs on this record.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mean, hell, if I'm doing a list of my favorite Paul songs, and that's like number one, how am I going to not pick it from the record?
Well,
So,
like mine did here, same thing for me, Master and Slave, which before I actually had the album, I thought was called Tell Me. But anyway.
So did this guy from the gym. I love that song, Tell Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they didn't have song titles.
No, not at that point. And just amazing. I think it's after the first chorus when he's doing, opening up the second verse and kicking into the, the first verse and then kicking into the second when he goes, love. I mean, that's terrible, everyone, but I can't even describe it, like just how he kicks in. And I don't know, that's a great, great friggin' song.
Yes, it is.
So 1998, we're back with the original lineup. So everyone was thinking it first. Yes. But Psycho Circus, brother, what do you got there?
Okay, well, I have Dreaming, but I mean, it's a good song. But I mean, can I say something about that record, please?
Please.
I have lost a lot of respect, probably for Paul more than anything. And who the fuck was the guy, Fairbairn or whatever the guy's name was that was producing it? You telling me Ace could have done better than the crap on that record?
I know. They're just very.
I thought it was. I was so excited, AJ. You have no idea.
Oh, I sure do. I was too. Believe me.
And it's like, oh my God, this is going to be the real Kiss with a record out there. Peter played on one song drumming.
Yep. And a vocal
Ace,
that was god awful. Not his vocal, the song.
Yeah, the terrible song. And Ace, he played. Did he play guitar on one? I think
he played on Into the Void, which was his vocal,
which is his song.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very passionate in my disdain for that record and what they did to the Kiss fans. Yep. Don't tell me that it's all for you when you fucking pull that crap.
Exactly.
I love you guys. I love Kiss, but that pissed me off.
As it should have. Absolutely. All right. So
I don't know if you I'll tell you what I really feel next time.
So I'm going with Raise Your Glasses, and just that song to me, I love the song. I struggled with your pick as well, but because I love that as well. That's the one that I think they were sued because of I'm 18 by Alice Cooper. But Raise Your Glasses to me is just an incredible song. You know how you were talking on another cast, Mark was talking about, Not for the Innocent, I think. And you were like, imagine Belichick playing that in the locker room. And just imagine this, when they're getting the trophy or the Bees are skating around with the Stanley Cup and hearing this, we're the champions. I don't know.
AJ, I did hear that. I was watching Stanley Cup back in the day, and they did play that.
Oh, really?
Somebody was. Yes,
wow.
I do believe so.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's good because I really thought it should have been, a staple for that. I mean, just great.
It didn't have staying power or anything like that.
All right, Mark. Now we're going to go to all the way up to 2009. Tread lightly, and actually don't. And we're at Sonic Boom.
Okay, I am picking the only song I know. The only song I know. I checked out of Kiss, and what was it, 2002, people. Judge me all you want. There are two groups. One group, pardon me, one that stayed loyal to the band, and one that checked out. And I would have been fine if they went out and took the makeup off and just kept playing, writing new stuff. And, okay, this is Kiss again.
Yep.
No. And yes, I think they had signed contracts that Ace and Peter sold the makeup. I don't give a damn about that. I sold out. They sold out as far as I'm concerned, and they were done to me. And the only reason I picked that is the only song I know.
Yep.
Not a big fan of the song at all. And no.
And
sorry.
we had to go through all the albums. Nope. Well, I'm right there with you, brother. And I want to say that doesn't mean we're not a Kiss fan here. We checked out. If you didn't, that's fine. That's fine. You like what you like. We like what we like. But I checked out as well and have zero problem with Tommy and Eric. It's a payday. It's a paycheck. Who the F would say no to that? You can't blame them a lick. I blame Gene and Paul. And not only could they have taken the makeup off or, changed their makeup. I'm still a believer in that. I don't think anyone would have given a rat's ass. But
what is it going to be? The giraffe?
Right. I know. When Paul said that, it really pissed me off. I also took the, Modern Day Delilah, which actually is a decent song. But anyway, let's move on to Monster 2012.
I don't even know the song, but I've heard of it. So again, I picked the only one I even know the title to. So Hallelujah.
Yep.
Don't even know anything about the song.
Nope. I don't know much. I did see him a few times after, but I never paid, and I'm proud of that. But I had to take my kids to one and another friend to one because, to show them the spectacle. But, yep, same thing. Now they're doing Say Yeah, or we're doing Say Yeah, on the friggin', the End of the Road tour. I'm like, come on.
I did see that.
Pull that shit out for God's sakes.
Because I didn't even like their set list for that.
Yeah, well, no, it was just, it's been the same for however many years, a decade, but that's something that Paul Stanley just, tried to make a hit, and nobody gave a rat's ass, whether it's a newbie or a diehard. Nobody gave a shit about that song. That could have been Come On and Love Me or anything else, King of the Nighttime World, what have you. All right, brother. We're on to our wild cards, and this can be anything absolutely that you want.
Okay, AJ, question. Do we going to do one at a time, or do you want me to do all three?
No, absolutely. We're going to do it exactly like we've been rolling, so you pick one.
Okay. All right, I'll start with Tonight You Belong to Me. First song on the solo record. Just I love the music to begin the song. Love his vocal. Just, I went back and forth to that on my song.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
My Paul solo record thing, and in fact, I changed my mind to Ain't Quite Right, and I was like, you know what, I might not have got the criteria right, so I was delighted when he said, "Yeah, we're picking one from Paul's record."
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, I wanted to sneak a few in there that I love, and I thought 24 would be a good number, 12 per each disc or whatnot. So, all right. Well, I'm going with something that was a demo technically off of Crazy Nights, and that's called Sword and Stone. And no way. All right. Anyway, I thought that was a great, great, great Paul song. Bonfire also did it on the Shocker soundtrack.
I'd love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
God loves you. Now send me your cash.
Rain Cash. That was Horace
Send
Pinker.
us your checker cash. Wait, what is it?
We need more.
God, yeah.
Great song, though. I just loved it. I don't know what I can say about it other than I feel like it would have been a fit, for Crazy Nights. But anyway,
yeah.
All right. Up to you, brother.
Okay. Nowhere to Run. First song on Killers.
Yes, sir.
It's just, again, Paul has a way of reaching your soul when he sings. He's got a very soulful voice, or he used to anyway. And it just, in the middle of the song, he does that bridge.
Oh, Incredible, incredible vocal, incredible song, incredible everything. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
So to me, I
Yep.
guess my next one is I'm a Legend Tonight off of Killers as well. I mean, everything about that song to me is kick ass. I love it. Great vocal, great solo. Once again, I think that's Bob Kulick. Don't quote me on it because this is off the cuff, everyone. I mean, I told Mark last night, and I've been driving all day and working. Neither of us really had a time to look at anything. So
We just love our fans so much that we just had to do a show for you people.
right. But anyway, yeah, I'm a Legend Tonight. Unbelievable.
Right.
So that's 24 to you, Mark, our final track.
Okay, I'm going with Life in the Woods. Life in the Woods would be easy.
Dear Lord.
That was a song. That was a song. It's right from the very beginning of the band.
Mm-hmm.
And Ace even says in his book, he thought it was a great change of pace.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know what Paul thinks living in the woods is so easy. You don't have to deal with people and everything, but it's a lot harder. Paul, let me tell you something, what we have to do out here. Paul, we have to drive anywhere. Paul, we have to go out and gather water when the power's out, Paul. So life in the woods is not easy.
Oh, man.
We got eaten alive by mosquitoes. What the hell you thinking?
Unbelievable. All right. Well,
that's my last one.
That will be 24 to me. And this, I mean, I don't know what else I can say about it, but other than it's, I think, one of the greatest songs of all time, and that Mark already picked it. That is Nowhere to Run off of Killers. Just, there isn't one part of that song that is not fucking incredible, but just a fucking amazing song. I mean, everything about it. Paul's vocal, the guitar, everything. I mean, and the drums. Like on the Creatures box set, I don't know if you've heard it, but they released some of the demos and they put it out with Eric's Creatures of the Night sound. And just any of those songs could have, in my opinion, been on Creatures or Lick It Up and just been phenomenal. But awesome.
Really, the two best records, really, as far as heaviness.
Oh, yeah. As far as heaviness goes, absolutely. And Revenge, too. But that's more of a heavy Gene album. Thou Shalt Not. Oh, man.
Great tune.
Love that tune.
Well,
awesome.
We'll talk about those when we get on to the Gene portion of this.
Absolutely, which is going to be next. All right. Well, that wraps up our Paul Stanley compilation. That's my favorite and Mark's favorites. I'd be interested to hear what some of you have to say once we get our social media up, which should be coming soon. But thank you so much, Mark.
Oh, you're welcome, brother. And please be careful tomorrow, or, do you have a chance to sleep in so you don't have to deal with it until the plow guy shows up?
Oh,
or
no.
Is he kind of show?
Our plow guy shows up at 6 p.m., does one swipe, and I'm stuck at home, and I have to work at 11. So,
well, you might want to hitchhike then.
Yeah, it's going to be pure agonizing hell. So God bless you folks that live somewhere warm and don't have to deal with this. But awesome. Thanks, Mark. Thank you, listeners, for listening to another episode of Preachers of the Night. Our little Kiss cast we're going to be doing in past times at 80s High. And I hope you enjoyed it. Everyone have a good night.
You've been listening to Past Times at 80s High. Our passion is the nostalgia from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. When times were more simple, times were more fun.
Hey, bud, let's party.
And we weren't stuck in our phones all day.
Inconceivable!
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, you can send an email to pasttimes@80shigh@gmail.com and hit the website at pasttimes@80shigh.com. See you next time.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.